Her mother-in-law handed her a pile to wash, which she collected. Then her sister-in-law came and dumped another pile. I've already finished washing clothes. Maybe you should have brought them earlier, Sandra said, the sister-in-law's face twisted with anger. So you don't want to wash my clothes? Don't worry, you'll see Peppa in this house. Then she stormed off. Sandra realized clearly, this was a battle for her home, and she could not let them win. Sandra had been feeling very uncomfortable in her own house. Ever since her mother-in-law and sister-in-law came to stay, nothing felt like her home anymore. She felt watched, judged, and pushed around every single day. Even her husband didn't seem to notice how much this was hurting her. One afternoon, Sandra had just finished sweeping the kitchen. She walked into the living room. Her mother-in-law was sitting on the sofa, looking at her from head to toe. "What are you doing?" her mother-in-law asked, "And what are you wearing?" she added sharply. Sandra tried to stay calm. "Mama, I was just cleaning," she said. "I didn't think it was a problem. You should dress like a responsible woman. Not a wayward girl," her mother-in-law snapped. "This is my son's house, and I will not allow nonsense like this." Sandra paused, feeling speechless. She didn't know how to respond, so she just walked away, thinking, what have I done to make them hate me so much? The next morning, Sandra woke up early to start cooking. She had barely started preparing breakfast when her mother-in-law came into the kitchen. Without saying a word, she removed the pot from the stove. "Mama, I'm cooking," Sandra exclaimed. "I know you're cooking," her mother-in-law said. "But today, we are not eating this. Move aside." "Are you deaf?" I said. "Move aside," Sandra tried to explain. "My husband asked me to cook this specially for him. He said he has been craving for it." "Shut up your mouth," her mother-in-law snapped. "This is my son's house. I decide what we eat." "You are not serious." Sandra didn't argue. She stepped aside and let her mother-in-law cook what she wanted. By the time Sandra finished cooking, she went to the dining area. Her husband was already eating the food his mother had cooked, semo and okra soup. "Baby, you asked me to prepare jollof rice and chicken for you. I woke up early to cook it," Sandra said. He shrugged. "Mama's food is the best. Don't be angry. I will eat it later or put it in the freezer." Sandra's chest tightened. Why does everything she wants always come first? She quietly left the dining table and went and took small portion. Her anger building inside, she said to herself, "These people are testing my patience. Oh, I'm not this calm. What kind of mother-in-law is this?" One Tuesday morning, Sandra was mopping the floor. The floor was still wet. Her sister-in-law came in and stepped directly on the clean floor with her dirty feet, laughing. "Oh, sorry. I didn't see you there," she said sarcastically. Sandra said, "Excuse me. You saw I was cleaning, mopping." The sister-in-law replied, "I said I didn't see you. No need to be barking at me like a dog." Sandra got very angry. She said, "Are you mad or something? How dare you talk to me like that? You came to my home and you have the guts to disrespect me." The sister-in-law said, "Your home?" She laughed out loud. "This is my brother's home. Is it not your duty to clean and mop? Are you not a wife? Since you are shouting that this is your home, why are you acting like a mad dog complaining of cleaning ordinary dirty floor?" Sandra replied her angrily, "See this foolish girl. Oh, is it because I've been very calm with you? You're very stupid. You are very mad for what you just said to me, so you have grown wings to talk to me anyhow. I will show you who is the boss here," the sister-in-law said, lunging toward. Then the sister-in-law tried to slap Sandra, but she slipped and fell. She hit her head on the floor. Sandra laughed out loud. The sister-in-law stood up screaming in pain and ran to go and call her mother. The mother-in-law came and started insulting Sandra. "You want to kill my daughter for me, you this witch. You will not succeed in this house. My son has married problem into our family." Before Sandra could talk back, she slapped her. She said, "Ever since you came to this house, there has been nothing but trouble. Before you got married to him, we were just a happy family living together. You're not good enough for my son. And I will make sure he sees that." Sandra held her cheek and said, "Mama, I didn't even touch her. I was mopping, and she came and stepped on it with her dirty feet. The sister-in-law spoke out holding her head. Mommy, I didn't see her mopping. Oh, the mother-in-law faced Sandra. She didn't see you mopping, and you want to kill my daughter for me. You will not last in this house, useless girl. They left. Sandra sat on the sofa holding her cheek. She was boiling with anger and rage. Something had to be done fast, she thought, that evening, when her husband came home. Sandra didn't wait, she spoke immediately. Your mother slapped me today, she said, her voice shaking with anger. He looked at her calmly. Babe, don't be angry. Anything my mother does, she's just trying to correct you. You know she wants this home to be perfect. Sandra's eyes widened. Did you even hear me? You didn't ask me what happened. You didn't even want to know. You're just saying she's right. He leaned back on the sofa. Would my mother slap you without a reason? She had her reasons. That's just how she teaches. Sandra's hands trembled with frustration. Teaching? This isn't teaching. She hit me in my own home, for no reason. See, I've been patient, calm, trying to keep peace in this house. But you just sit there and let her treat me like this. He shook his head slowly. Babe. Elders are always right. You can't tell me my mother would do something without a reason. You just have to take corrections. Sandra's lips tightened. Accept it. I've been calm all this time, and that stupid sister of yours, she has no manners at all. She keeps interfering and making my life miserable. His face hardened. Why would you call my sister stupid? Don't disrespect my family. I've never disrespected your family before, he pointed at her angrily. Sandra was frustrated. She didn't speak again. Because she knew complaining to her husband was like talking to a wall, she laid down on the bed, still angry and frustrated. Her husband sat quietly on the side of the bed, staring into space. He could see she was boiling inside, but he didn't know what to do. He didn't realize that Sandra had reached her breaking point. In her mind, she kept thinking, one day, I'll show them. One day, they'll see what it means to mess with me in my own home. After that day, Sandra tried her best to avoid trouble. She knew every small thing she did could spark a fight. If she swept the floor, her mother-in-law would complain, "You didn't sweep well. There's still dust." If she washed the plates, her mother-in-law would say, "There's still oil on the plate. This is not clean." Sometimes, when Sandra cooked, her mother-in-law would add, "My son doesn't like too much pepper." Sandra would reply, "Mama, this is how I've been cooking it for him. He loves it." Her mother-in-law would just stare angrily, saying nothing, making Sandra feel watched at every move. That Saturday afternoon, her husband said, "Babe, we are going to get foodstuffs for the house today. Please write down everything we need." Sandra took her notebook and began writing the list carefully. Her husband started calling out items: rice, beans, semevita. "And the juice in the freezer is almost finished, right?" "Yes," Sandra replied as she added it into the list. Sandra wrote everything down silently. Then her sister-in-law jumped in. "Brother, don't forget the catfish. Our wife will make pepper soup for us today." Sandra just stared at her. She didn't say a word. Her husband nodded and said, "Okay, now that we have the list, let's go." They walked outside toward the car. Sandra reached for the door to open it. Her mother-in-law suddenly pushed her aside and said, "You're rushing to the front seat like you are the one who bought this car." Sandra looked at her husband, expecting him to say something meaningful and defend her, but he said calmly, "Babe, please just sit at the back. Don't make a big deal out of nothing." Sandra shook her head in disappointment and said firmly, "I'm not going anymore, you guys can go on without me." Her husband looked at her in surprise. "Really? So it's because of the front seat you don't want to go?" Her mother-in-law laughed and added, "My son, leave her alone. She is not ready. Let's go." Sandra turned sharply and stormed back into the house angrily. She picked up her phone and called her friend asking to come over. Sandra went straight to her friend's house. She sank onto the sofa. Exhausted and frustrated, "Babe, you wouldn't believe what's happening in my own home, my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law. They have been treating me like I'm nothing, like I don't even belong there, and my husband. He's just sitting there, doing nothing. I've been trying my best to avoid trouble, but every day it's something new. They insult me, they criticize everything I do." Her friend's eyes widened. "Babe, how is your husband just letting them treat you like that?" Sandra shook her head. "I don't know. I've been trying to talk to him, but he just says things like, 'They're just trying to correct you,' or 'Don't take it personally.' He doesn't understand that this isn't correction. It's pure disrespect. I've explained everything that has been happening, every insult, every time they've tried to humiliate me, and he still does nothing. It's like they want to destroy our home, and he won't even see it." Her friend leaned forward. "Serious, babe, you cannot let them get away with that. You have to fight fire with fire, give them hot. Are they mad or something? You just got married, not even up to 2 months, and already they are trying to take control. You have to show them that you are not weak. Take back your home, Sandra." Sandra's eyes flared with determination. "That's true. Even if my husband doesn't see anything wrong with it, I will not allow that wicked witch of a mother-in-law to ruin my home. I will show them pepper. I've endured for too long." Her friend nodded, excitement growing in her eyes. "Yes. That's the spirit. You need to put them in their place. They must not destroy your home. I tried being patient, being calm, avoiding trouble. But they keep testing me. Soon I will put them in their place. That's my girl," her friend said happily. She cracked jokes so Sandra would not think too much. That morning, around 6 a.m., Sandra was suddenly woken up. "Mama, wake up. Wake up," her mother-in-law shouted. Sandra sat up, rubbing her eyes. Her husband was still asleep. "I want to eat pounded yam and egusi soup," her mother-in-law said, impatiently. Sandra looked at the clock. "It was just 6 a.m., Mama, I'll be out shortly," she said tiredly. "I slept around 3 a.m. yesterday, helping my husband with a business deal." Her mother-in-law shouted even louder. "And so what? Are you the first to do it? Stand up right now." Sandra tried to close her eyes for a moment, but she knew she had no choice. She got up, boiled the meat, washed the stockfish, chopped the vegetables, brought out the palm oil, and set one pot of yam on the fire to boil. As she sat down to pound the yam, her mother-in-law came into the kitchen. Looking around critically. "So you're not done yet? Do you want me to die of hunger?" she said sharply. Sandra ignored her and continued pounding the yam, but her mother-in-law was relentless. "Pound the yam, lazy girl. Pound it well." She backed. Sandra had had enough. She was frustrated, exhausted, and boiling inside. "Oh, she wants me to pound it. I will," she thought. In a sudden burst of anger, she stood up and, instead of pounding the yam, she struck her mother-in-law. The woman screamed in pain. "Stop. Help me. Help me." Her husband and sister-in-law ran in, screaming, "What have you done?" They yelled. They immediately rushed the mother-in-law to the hospital. Sandra stood in the kitchen, laughing and feeling a strange satisfaction. "Yes. Finally. I've unleashed all my anger. I hope it broke a bone," she thought. 2 hours later, her husband arrived at the hospital, angry and boiling. "Why would you hit my mother? Are you out of your mind?" he yelled. Sandra looked at him, her face full of fire. "I am out of my mind. I can't take this anymore. Your mother and sister have pushed me to the edge. They treated me like a slave, slapped me, humiliated me, and what did you do? Nothing. You claim you love me. But you can't stand up for me. Did your grandmother come to your home to destroy your mother's marriage? So why should your mother destroy mine? I'm done with this nonsense. Go ahead and marry your mother and sister if you want. I'm leaving." She dropped her ring on the floor and walked out. Her husband sat in shock, replaying everything in his head. Confused about what to do, he ran to his friend for advice. After listening to him, the friend said firmly, "Your wife is a good woman. She has endured insults, disrespect, and humiliation to keep this home together. You need to see the problem clearly. Your family has tried to ruin your marriage. You must act to protect it." He returned home, humbled and determined. He apologized to Sandra and told his mother and sister-in-law that he wanted to build his family and that they were no longer welcome in the house. His mother-in-law could not even face Sandra, realizing she had pushed her too far. Soon after, they discovered Sandra was pregnant. Her mother-in-law begged and pleaded, saying, "This is my first grandchild. I want to be here when he is born. Mama, we are relocating to the United States. We are not having our child here," her husband said. The news hit the mother-in-law and sister-in-law like a stone. "No. No. This can't be. Please don't go." They cried, kneeling and begging. Sandra stared at them, showing no pity. Her husband said calmly, "I want to start our family the right way. You have done too much damage. Mama, I love you, but this is not how I want my marriage to be. My wife is my first priority. I must leave the family I came from to build the family I want." They cried and pleaded, but Sandra and her husband had made up their minds. The mother-in-law left with a swollen and bruised body.